Mourinho got the sack once again. Despite being the first boss to bag Roma a trophy and European glory in 15 years. He led them to the Europa League final last season, but they lost to Sevilla on penalties. Before him, Roma had 15 dry years, no European trophies, and a half-empty stadium. Now, they've seen 3 European finals, grabbed 1 trophy, and sold out 40 consecutive matches at the Olimpico. Passion is back, but Mourinho is gone. What's next for him? Fans didn't hold back their displeasure as José Mourinho faced a chorus of boos before the game at San Siro on Sunday night. The setting was AC Milan versus Roma at the Giuseppe Meazza, not Inter, Mourinho's cherished club from the unforgettable treble win in 2010. The displeasure from Milan fans was predictable the moment Mourinho's face appeared on the big screen, marking a stark contrast to the adoration he once enjoyed for leading the club to a European trophy. However, this season's dismal results and performances have turned the tide of support for the Portuguese manager. After a 3-1 defeat to AC Milan, what stood out was the intense backlash Mourinho's team faced from their own fans. When Roma's players tried to acknowledge the 4,000-strong travelling support, they were met with hostility, challenging them to show some resilience. Striker Andrea Bellotti admitted, "We've hit rock bottom." Mourinho, suspended once again for his outburst at officials, missed witnessing this bitter reaction in person. Despite being absent from the bench, he couldn't escape criticism. For the first time since taking charge in 2021, some fans started questioning Mourinho's tactics. A fed-up fan vented online, declaring, "Mourinho has messed us up even worse than Monchi." A bold claim considering how disastrous the Spaniard's stint as sporting director was. But these online jabs marked a significant change in sentiment and ultimately signaled the end of Mourinho's time at Roma. From believers to doubters. When the special one landed at Roma, he was treated like a deity, hailed as a savior by the enduring supporters. The fans' unwavering faith paid off with the European trophy, the Conference League, in Mourinho's debut season at the Stadio Olimpico. Mourinho truly became their messiah, and Giallorossi hung on his every word. When he went off on referees, they followed suit. Sure, there were concerns about the style of play, or lack thereof, and dissenting voices, notably from former Roma forward Antonio Cassano. Still, for a long time, they were drowned out by the cult hero status Mourinho achieved and his loyal followers. However, over the past 6 months, some blindingly faithful supporters turned into doubters, as Roma fell victim to the third-season syndrome that has plagued Mourinho's managerial career. It became clear early in the 2023-24 season that something was amiss at Roma, especially behind the scenes. Following the defeat at San Siro, Roma found themselves in the 9th spot in Serie A, managing just 1 win in their last 6 league games. Adding to the misery, they were recently ousted from the Coppa Italia by Lazio. As reported by Gazzetta dello Sport on Monday, the club is deemed to be in a deep crisis. The pressing question on everyone's minds, from journalists to fans, and reportedly even from Mourinho himself, is whether the 2-time Champions League winner is still the right person to steer Roma out of this predicament. Even before the Milan match, rumors circulated that Roma's American owners, the Friedkin Group, were contemplating Mourinho's dismissal, considering the possibility of replacing him with club legend Daniele De Rossi, at least on an interim basis. Post-game, there were claims that Mourinho had informed his players of his willingness to resign, expressing dissatisfaction with what he perceived as a lack of adherence to his instructions. Before the Milan match, Mourinho revealed he had a tough team meeting following the derby defeat, singling out some individuals for harsh criticism. Despite his belief that certain players weren't fully committed, he avoided naming names, generally satisfied with the effort from what he considered an overextended squad. The crux of Mourinho's concern was the perceived lack of resources to contend for a top 4 finish in Serie A. He consistently emphasized the team's injury troubles, particularly Paulo Dybala's absence, acknowledging Roma's dependency on their talented number 21. While some argue leaning heavily on a player with a shaky fitness history was a recipe for disaster, Mourinho, as he often does, portrayed himself as a victim of his own success. He argued that Roma, due to financial constraints and injury woes, couldn't match spending levels of clubs like Manchester City or Chelsea. However, other Serie A teams with lower wage bills such as Fiorentina, Lazio, Bologna and Atalanta outperformed Roma in the points department. Contrary to Mourinho's claim of overachieving, the statistics tell a different story. Roma's fewest points after 20 Serie A games since the 2002-03 season and the worst points average, 1.61, of any coach overseeing 50 or more matches in the 3 points for a win era. Considering these underwhelming results, the Friedkin Group's decision to sack Mourinho seemed justified. While their economic situation was delicate, they felt an immediate change was necessary for the club's best interests. Despite still having a shot at Champions League qualification, the owners lacked confidence in Mourinho, who had fallen short of securing a top 4 spot in his 2 full seasons at the Olimpico. Undoubtedly, Mourinho faced challenging circumstances in his first 2 seasons at the Olimpico, and he shouldn't shoulder all the blame for Roma's current struggles. The imminent departure of sporting director Thiago Pinto next month is met with little regret from fans. Pinto's 3-year tenure witnessed more transfer market misses than hits, even questioning the significance of his notable coups like Dybala and Romelu Lukaku, given Dybala's persistent fragility and Lukaku's tendency to fade in crucial matches. Mourinho's call for increased support from the club, especially in handling media matters, went unanswered. He felt overwhelmed, like juggling 3 or 4 roles simultaneously for an extended period. However, public sympathy is in short supply now. The football was consistently poor, results were disappointing, and the conduct of Mourinho and his staff on the sidelines was often disgraceful. Many rightfully questioned why Mourinho expended so much energy on conflicts with officials and opponents instead of focusing on revitalizing a team lacking ideas and confidence. Belotti aptly remarked, "We can't go any lower." Just a month ago, fans at the Stadio Olimpico celebrated Mourinho as a Romanista for life, expressing lasting gratitude. However, even some of Mourinho's most ardent supporters began doubting the special one, making his departure both inevitable and essential. The big question now is, where does the special one head next? While Mourinho's managerial reputation has taken hits in recent years, there's little doubt he won't be short on job offers. His knack for creating siege mentalities and stirring up fan fervor remains unmatched. Despite the recent turmoil at Stadio Olimpico, Mourinho formed a strong bond with Roma supporters. He's still a headline act, courting controversy like no other manager in the game, making him an appealing option for clubs looking to boost their profile. So let's explore some potential destinations for one of football's most divisive yet successful figures. Saudi Pro League, the most likely move by far. Mourinho received a lucrative offer from an unnamed Saudi Pro League club last summer, and another offer wouldn't be surprising. He's expressed interest in working in Saudi Arabia, intrigued by the challenge of winning the AFC Champions League. The allure of reuniting with Cristiano Ronaldo could make this move even more compelling. Newcastle. With Eddie Howe facing scrutiny after a recent slump, Mourinho's high profile makes him a favourite for Newcastle's well-funded Saudi Arabian backers. Despite financial fair play, or FFP, issues, Mourinho would welcome the chance to restore his reputation in England. If Gareth Southgate's tenure with the Three Lions ends after Euro 2024, Mourinho might throw his hat into the ring. Despite concerns about his playing style, Mourinho's proven winning record and familiarity with English football could make him a necessary evil for a nation seeking international success. Napoli. Napoli's current turmoil, coupled with Aurelio De Laurentiis' managerial missteps, could open the door for Mourinho. Taking charge of a club with passionate supporters might appeal to Mourinho, provided there's assurance about key player retentions. Chelsea. Chelsea's penchant for statement signings might lead them to consider Mourinho for a third stint at Stamford Bridge. If Mauricio Pochettino faces the axe, Mourinho's special connection with the club could see him return. Brazil. While currently committed until December 2026, if Dorival Jr. fails to revive Brazil's fortunes, Mourinho could be a viable option. His reported interest in the role earlier suggests the Brazilian Football Confederation might still consider him. Manchester United. Mourinho's return to Old Trafford seems unlikely, given the messy end to his previous tenure. However, if Erik ten Hag faces the axe and Mourinho senses better support, a comeback might not be entirely off the table. Barcelona. Barca's financial woes and Javi's struggles could prompt a surprising move for Mourinho, even though his pragmatic style clashes with the club's footballing philosophy. Desperate times might call for desperate measures at Camp Nou. While Mourinho evaluates his options, one thing is certain: he won't lack lucrative and intriguing opportunities in the footballing landscape.